Actually going to be winter finally.
It's officially winter,
right.
yes.
It's kind of weird though to say that like we're still in fall.
Yeah, people
know,
always think
right?
that like December, you're in the mindset to winter, but really it just does not begin until the 21st.
21st this year. Sometimes it's
Saturday.
the 22nd. Yeah, so it's this Saturday. It's the shortest day of the year because of our tilt toward or away from the sun. So it's the tilt of the earth that determines our seasons. As meteorologists, we call it winter as of December 1st. You notice the weather changing. You notice more fog. You notice longer, colder nights. But as far as the sun is concerned, winter is Saturday. Okay. So that's just a fun fact. It's going to be our shortest day of the year. And we're talking about daylight because that's a big talker nationwide right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's because President-elect Donald Trump has just talked about the removal or ending daylight saving time. So that means that we would not spring forward in March.
I would really like not to change my clocks anymore.
Well, again, a lot of people have been talking about this for years, and you may remember California voters several years ago voted to permanently enact daylight saving time, meaning that we would fall back and then stay there.
Yeah.
This proposal is to not spring forward and keep us on standard time.
We are on standard time
right now
currently. So this is standard time. Daylight saving time was first adopted as a wartime measure in 1942. It's often argued, to help maximize daylight hours for those who work outside, such as our farmers. But a lot of farmers say they go by the sun either way.
Our clock is the sun. We're on the solar clock. Sun comes up, we go to work. The one place where it could impact us is in our energy cost. PG&E has peak hours where the cost of power increases, and that we don't know what time that will be.
Okay, so do we stay on daylight time or do we stay on standard time if we were to pick one? And obviously there's different arguments for how it benefits other states. All we care about is Kern County. So for our specific area, if we stayed on standard time like we have now, our winters would have a sunrise about 7 a.m., a sunset about 4:40. Our summers would then have an early sunrise about 4:40 a.m. and a summer sunset about 7:15. As a parent, I like this.
I love all of that. And as someone who works on the morning shift, I really like this. But there is actually a bill right now. It's stalled, but it's a bipartisan bill in Congress because this is going to take an act of Congress to change the Sunshine Protection Act. And that would make the daylight saving time, so the time when we spring forward, it would make that time permanent instead.
So if that were the case and we weren't doing standard time, if we stayed on daylight time, then our winter sunrises would be later, not coming up until about 8 a.m., but you would get more time at night, which a lot of people care about. The sunset in the winter wouldn't be until 5:40. Likewise, it would be kind of a standard summer like we experience now. The summer sunrise on daylight time would be 5:40 a.m., sunset about 8:15 p.m.
Which is what it is right now.
Which is what it is. So again, it's all about, do we pick standard? Do we pick daylight?
Right.
We're going to talk a lot more about this as Trump returns to office because this is something that he's really getting a big buzz from his constituents about, but he needs Congress to pass it.
And we have, everyone I think agrees it's time to stop switching.
Yeah.
Many medical associations say it's not good for our health. It really messes up our body clocks when we lose that hour, when we spring forward. But I think the argument is just over which time do we stick with. I'm just saying, just pick one.
Just pick one.
Pick one, please.
And again, for Kern County, either way, it's fine. But if we stayed on standard time in Maine, they would have a 3:45 p.m. winter sunset. That sounds awful. If we stayed on daylight time, North Dakota would have a 9:45 a.m. winter sunrise.
So again, that's when it becomes really different because you start thinking about those kids who go to school during that time. They would be going to school when it is pitch black outside. That there's some dangers there. So,
but that's already what they're doing.
They are. It would just be much
longer,
later.
Much later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, but that is the debate that's happening once again. This time, we're not even close to changing our clocks, but the conversation is already happening.